Let's take a look at our 60-minute chart of the S&P 500, where we look at the action overnight and during the trading session. And you can see in here that, well, we're on Friday. If you look all the way on the right, we're selling off again. The selling that came from the previous week spilled over into the European markets over here, where Europe was down and Japan were down overnight on Monday morning. And then we had a big reversal in here as the NASDAQ moves up 130 points off of its lows. But that's the nature of a free fall. Panic buying and panic selling. And selling came in, and ES fell 150 points. There was a huge panic in here as the XIV blew up, and there was massive buying on the close in the VX futures to try to cover up all that short volatility that they had. The Dow was intraday down like 1,600 points. It closes down 1,175 points that day. And Powell was signed in that day. Very fitting, right? You know, inflation worries are building, and that's what we're talking about here. Overnight on Tuesday, world markets dropped really sharply. Nikkei down 4.73%. And then as we get into the trading day on Tuesday, the VIX collapsed, and it brought a huge brief moment of relief. You had this big upward tick, it settled back, and then you actually closed strong. You rebounded on the day right over there. The rebound stalled in Asia, and we got a pullback overnight on Wednesday. Really weak bond auction caused a problem, and here is bonds cracked by 1.5 points. That really got the selling coming in again, and we got this another down wave here on Wednesday. Here the yields kept rising. The Fed, Fed come out and say, no biggie. Powell says, okay, so don't worry about this decline in the stock market. And that's the kind of attitude we need. Laissez-faire. Let the market settle them out. Settle the stuff out on its own. And really a lot of focus on these volatility products, with tons of them getting shut down in here. And then we had a bit of a bounce here on Friday and great NVIDIA earnings. And you could see that, well, they tried to hold up in here. China, though, got slammed. 4.3%, was down 6%, and down 12.8% on the week. That's worse than the U.S. market. Down 12.8% from its peak, which is worse than the U.S. markets. And then on Friday, we had a little bit of a lift here on those NVIDIA earnings. But then selling came in, and here we are at midday, near the lows of the day in here, with the S&Ps having fallen from up some 20-something points to all the way down some 30-something points, a 50-point plus move to the downside, as futures had closed better, and they're even in worse shape now because they had a rally based on NVIDIA's earnings. So that is a look at our 60-minute chart for the S&P 500, and you can see that looking at that, you've got a week that just had these selling squalls, free fall moments that were just absolutely enormous in there. So that is just the nature of a market that has started a significant correction. Make sure you watch my big picture analysis of the stock market, which I did this week. It's a member video. We put a little clip of it out on YouTube, and it's really, I think, an important video for you to see, as some things have certainly changed in here, and we talk a lot about that big picture. So you're going to want to watch that video. Well, worst week since 2008. Free fall, just amazingly bad pattern. It was a couple weeks ago where we put in 3 different scenarios, but we were worried that the most likely pattern had become a sharp downside move, and that a major top was forming as we got into a corrective period, and that certainly has happened. We have a lot to look at here in this chart. You can see in here this downward motion. Now note, we've added in a half cycle right over there, and that half cycle is likely to give you a bounce. There's actually, let me just activate that drawing right there and move it down. We're 9 days right over here into this new cycle. Now, there's a lot of you out there that haven't seen the nature of these markets for a long period of time or ever. Now, when you get into free fall markets, what changes is that the mid-cycle periods in here bring sharp bounces. You see this one right over here. That was a little early to be calling that, and then it failed immediately. So we're going to look for more like we had right in here, where they try to get up, but then they come down. This low period over here points out to the 23rd or so of February. That's where we think that you could actually get a real trading bottom at that point. Trading on the long side at this point is insanity, even though I think you could get major bounce on the upside. We're going to look for the S&P 500 getting up to this area right over here at 2630 and then fail. So yeah, that would be like an 85-point bounce or something like that. It should come in the next, starting in the next couple of days, and then not be able to hold on to that. That's a bold call because the market is coming down so hard. But you could see right in here, S&P's rallied from 2596 here up to 2726. So that was a 130-point bounce. So we think we can get into that area, but playing for that is crazy, and any bottom is going to be temporary, and we think that this free fall nature that we had labeled right over here says that we're going to continue to be in a lot of trouble. We're going to look for a bounce in this coming week, and that it's not going to be able to hold. The NASDAQ NDX is the next one we're going to look at, and you can see in here the same type of a pattern as it gets into this area where we should get a bounce. The upward targets are 64.10. That's right, 200 and something points up there as it moves up, but it's down 122 points today. So a big decline that you can see going on here, likely to bring big reactions to the upside that aren't able to hold. This one points to February 23rd also. So we're going to look for another one of these kind of 9-day periods coming that you can see right in here, where you get the rally and a decline and a rally and a decline. That's kind of the pattern that is shaping up in here. This is the most likely pattern that we're looking at in here based on the market action that we see going on right now. Free fall nature in the stock market, and that is something that I've seen a lot of. And watch that big picture analysis that shows that. I talk about 4 different markets that had made all-time highs and then fell off by some 10% in a couple of weeks, and what that meant to the overall market. You're going to want to see that, and I really encourage you to do it. Become a member at Ask Slim, and you'll be able to watch that video and all of our videos. I share 8 different categories of videos, all about tools for techs, all about learning charting, all the way to trading psychology, which I've been a facilitator in and certified for 22 years. So just a ton of great information for you to see. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter at Ask Slim, and become a YouTube subscriber. Sign up for our cycle workshop so you'll learn more than you ever believed in 21 videos. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also go to AskSlim.com and become a level 1 member. No cost to you, and we have some special videos for you to see. I know you'll enjoy them. I've been